Good morning, guys. So today, while I was feeding myself, like I always do, I was navigating the wonderful world of Twitter, and I noticed, of course, a lot of political trends, which is normal. There is a lot of stuff going on, and therefore it's being covered. And something that stood out to me was that, of course, there are usually a lot of stories that zoom in on the issues and they tend to take a racial direction. And I also have a pending stream in which I will deal with that as well, but I just haven't put my mind together in it yet. But when I was reading how everything tends to be broken down based on groups, based on race, which I understand the same, I decided to look up what are some American values. And then a website called, I think it was called the Refugee Center or something like that, it listed some things. And the very first thing that it listed was that Americans value their independence. Which, of course, if you know anything about American history, in the event that you watch me and you're not an American citizen or you don't know anything about America like that, well, we pretty much pride ourselves on we fought for independence and we fought an independence war and we became independent from Britain and whatever, right? But when you think of independence in modern days, it is defined now as pretty much self fulfillment, self reliability, as opposed to your successes being the result of a group effort. That's something that this particular website phrased that as this refugee center website. And then when I think about it, I said to myself, okay, let's see. Let me think about successful people who I know or have read about, and what did they all have in common? And let me tell you, the one thing that they had in common is that they did not fucking make themselves successful all by themselves. They either relied on family, relied on the contributions of a group of people, like a community or something. So I think that having that value as, you are an independent person and therefore you are able to become successful all by yourself. And if you're successful is just and only exclusively the result of your hard work. I mean, yeah, hard work can get you far, but let's face it, this planet was not like formed in a way that you can absolutely sustain yourself completely alone. Like, if you want to accomplish big things, you definitely will need help. Because if that weren't the case, I don't think big companies would need a big labor force to be doing stuff for them. See what I mean? So, the individuals who are extremely successful, they're not independent. They depend on their little workforce, and that's why anytime people go on strike or anyone brings up the conversation of trying to initiate a union, these people who run the show, they freak out because they very well know how independent they're not. But then again, maybe that is a very narrow minded way for me to look at things because, again, I don't own a business and I don't even, like, that's not even what I dream of because I know I wouldn't be able to handle it. But I just think it's weird that we as a culture we promote that as our value, that you can be truly 100% independent, and if you become extremely successful it's just because you have this talent that no one else has, and it's completely your own doing. No, someone handed you something somewhere, someone gave you the opportunity somewhere, someone gave you the resources somewhere, and that someone who's giving you the resources, they got it from somewhere. And usually it took more than one person to do it. I'm not going to say usually, it always took more than one person to do it. Like, to take over a whole country or something, you needed a whole army. So that doesn't sound like absolute independence to me. To make a company grow, you needed to hire more people to do more things for you so that you can run a bigger store, a bigger company, or whatever. So to me, that is not synonymous of independence. And when you do have a huge company, you still have like stakeholders and people who are injecting capital into your business. So how can you sit there and claim that you're being absolutely independent? Maybe you became incredibly filthy rich to where now you could sort of detach yourself and become independent, but if you think about it, you're not going to just stop working and stop running businesses just because you have a massive lump capital now. Like, you still want to maintain that going, you'll still want to keep your investments going. So I just think it's crazy that we as Americans, we keep saying, oh yeah, I value my independence because my hard work is what takes me places. No, your hard work collaborating with others is what gets you to places. But for some reason, I think we want to feel proud of ourselves in such an extreme way that we try to undervalue what others do for us. And that's why I say, even the most minimal of things, I always try to be very grateful, and I don't try to take anything that anyone ever does for me for granted, because I know how impossible it is for you to make it just completely alone and independent. And if you are someone who happens to live alone and you say, oh, but I work alone and I've never been married, and uh, the way I live is the result of my hard work because my parents never helped me with anything or whatever. Well, the place that you go to work at, you still have to rely on other people to help you get your job done so that your wherever it is that you work at, whatever business that is, it can keep running. If it weren't for that, you would not have your job, and therefore you would not be able to live and enjoy your independent life. So to say that it's the result of your individual hard work aids you at not losing your position in the place that you're at, because if you're inefficient, no one is going to want to keep you around. But for me to sit here and say, you guys, look at me. I have everything that I have is the result of me all by myself. I obtained it. Like, no, I needed help. And the help that I needed was, say, at my job, so that all the, what is it? All the job, all the work, all everything that takes to keep the place that like pays me running, we all had to collaborate and work together. We just don't acknowledge it like that because we want to be very self-absorbed and be like, no, I'm the one who got up in the morning and I did this and that. Well, guess what? More people did the same thing you did. More people decided to show up to that building and get things done just like you. So you cannot sit there and claim that it's all the result of your own work. So yeah, you guys, I thought that I would present it from that perspective because I sincerely never hear anyone talk about it like that. So I just wanted to share it with y'all. That's the thought I had, and you guys can maybe take it apart or take me apart, whatever you desire. But I just felt like saying that because I'm just so fed up with the ways that our values are presented, and I feel like no one dares to think about it a little more critically than that. And I just don't like to be someone who's like self-absorbed like that. Like, I guess I'm just painfully someone who doesn't want to give myself credit where it's due, I guess. But it's just that I know that I'm not like all that. So I don't like to present myself like someone who's got it all together when of course I don't. And any time that I find relief, it's because someone helped me. Like, say, I have had situations in which I have been very, like, financially in trouble, and someone was there and they said, hey, how about if I buy you some lunch? How about if I don't, whatever ways people help. So there you go. I was not independent, and it's okay for me to not be independent. That's why we are born into a family and we're born into a group, and we have parents like taking care of us or someone doing the parenting role when we are small, young, and defenseless. So no matter how old you are, you're still going to rely on people one way or another. So as a child, you know your necessities as a child. You need people to feed you, you need people to give you a bath until a certain age, things like that. And then when you become an adolescent, you still need people to give you a ride to school, or you need the bus to take you to school. You need You still need help. When you become an adult, you still need to rely on other folks with the example that I just expressed to still be able to sustain your life. And you may even need to still live with someone because you're young and getting started. So, therefore, you don't have any sense of financial stability unless you come from a wealthy family. But even then, if you're a member of a wealthy family, you're getting supported anyway. So it's not like you independently are getting stuff done. Oh, but I'm going to college. I'm the one who's studying. It's not my parents. Well, guess what? Your parents are still facilitating the medium for you to obtain your education. So as opposed to just being like, oh, everything that I am is the result of my own fucking work. No, just be a little more humble about it. Admit that your success, whatever it is you fulfilled, someone out there was there for you, helping you. If you were in college and you were struggling with a course or something, did you not reach out to a professor or to some kind of tutor or student tutor support or something to make it? Because let me tell you, I have never heard of anyone say that they went to college and they absolutely did not reach out to anyone for anything. So if you do say that, I will say that you are lying. Someone helped you somewhere. So, anyways, guys, I just want to leave it at that because I could keep going and going. And I guess to make it fair, if you end up getting married and stuff and you have kids, of course, your spouse is going to help you unless they happen to abandon you. But that's beside the point. And when you grow into old age, you probably need a nurse of some sort to like help you because your body is starting to break down and you cannot rely on it independently anymore. So in every stage in life, there are ways that we can prove that how not independent we are. And I feel like people are just afraid of admitting that they're not independent because it may seem like you're weak or whatever it is that may affect someone's self confidence, self esteem, whatever. And for me, I like to admit how much help I need because it's just I cannot be someone who admits to something that I am not. See what I mean? Like, I cannot sit here and be like, yeah, everything that I have, I accomplished on my own. Like, no, some decisions that I make will either impact my life positively or impact it negatively. That is what I am independent in. I have independent thought. But the things that I experience that make my life quality better, that I cannot say that I'm absolutely independent at that. So hopefully you guys see where I'm trying to get to with that because it's kind of difficult to put into words. I never thought about it until I read that thing and I'm like, I need to ramble about this. But anyways, hopefully you guys see where I'm coming from. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Like always, I look forward to reading from you. And I have to leave now, but I will try to come back later, but it's possible that I won't be here later. But in case I'm not